B&R is here, and wow, we got air stuff. Hi guys, welcome back to Casting Commons, the show where we talk and discuss all things Pauper. I am your host, Tissot, and this is my co-host, the Bonders Ornament himself, Reese.
Hello.
So, before we start, just a little heads up. Reese is currently summing it up on holiday and graciously give his time to record. So, the audio obviously will be a bit different. He is currently on Discord on the phone, and we all know how Discord works. Anyways, never mind on a phone. So, please be gracious. But yeah, do not forget to support us though by rating us 5 stars on Spotify, following us on Twitter at CastingCommons1 for the most recent Pauper deck lists, and of course, subscribe to us on YouTube. How are you doing? Are you having a nice holiday?
Yeah, it's fun. To get away. Obviously, we missed a week as well with you just coming back. We basically just didn't have a record. So we've got 2 weeks to catch up on, but yeah, been good.
Yeah.
Before I came away, you even come to this one. We went and played a winner box in Whitley Bay at Bay Games, which was really good. Really cool store. Like,
very cool store.
Immense amounts of space.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll get some winner duel events and even bigger stuff going in the future. But yeah, really, really sick.
Yeah, it was a really cool store, like, to be fair. And it looked so big downstairs. We're like, oh, we're playing down here. And they're like, oh no, we're playing upstairs. And you go upstairs and there's like this whole other room. And it's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, you have way too much space here. But it seems to be doing well. People were really good. Shout out to everyone there. Yeah, it was good. It was nice and close though for me as well, which is nice. Obviously it's very non-committal. It's easy to go away for like majority of a day. But yeah,
it's obviously handy only being 2 hours away, which is sad, but it's like our most convenient thing so far.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So moving on. We had a B&R update this week. So we waited for... So we normally record on Monday evenings, but we waited till now to basically record, so we can basically talk about this B&R. We weren't... I wouldn't say we were super hopeful that anything really would change, because there was a high chance that, to be fair, for me anyways, there was nothing would change. Metagame-wise... you've got nothing really, right? Nothing really stand out. This is the best deck. This is, the only thing you can do, that sort of thing. It's very cyclical and stuff, in my opinion. And good that the Pauper format panel also agree, it seems. But we did get something. But so where would you like to start on what we get? Do you want to talk about the bit that they said where everything's fine and stuff like that, or do you want to...
Yeah, I mean, from last time, they basically said they were watching a red and mono blue terror, right?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, something along those lines.
And obviously, mono red just sort of not really changed, and then mono blue terror's probably gone down significantly in player percentage since that last announcement. So, and then with everything else like changing up with like the mention, particularly White Weenie, Tron and Elves making quite a big comeback into the format. They feel like there's nothing really that needs banned, which I would probably agree with at this point in time.
Yeah, I think the thing for me, which I liked also, was they mentioned usually they wait for like Geddon and just talk about Geddon. But here they talked about a lot of different Pauper events, like big Pauper events as well, which was really nice. Which showcased, and they all do, like all of these events showcase different types of, different decks in all the top 8s, right?
Yeah.
And the metagames in each of them, and, in the meta in general, has also evolved in them. Like, as you say, like Mono Blue Terror has taken a downward trend. Like, obviously, Blue Black sort of started to pick up its mantle to an extent, but that's then split out to like Fairies and Terror and stuff like that. Like the metas, it is cycling to me, which is really good, which is a good thing. And also, as they mentioned, obviously with the Tron thing was a really big one. Monster Tron was absolutely nowhere, and now it's doing really well.
Yeah, I think just them touching on other events as well is good because it shows how big a pop it is actually getting as well.
Yeah,
and obviously we're feeling it up in the end of nowhere, like with more events popping up to us. But I think worldwide, really, there's a lot more pop happening, which is sick.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really cool. It's really cool to see. Like, obviously, we always used to just see all these events were either for us were down south, or they were mainly like Italy and like Poland and Germany and stuff like that. But now, like, we see more bigger events in America, which is good. Which shows, like, obviously they're picking up the mantle that side. And it just is and you just see more and more. Like, you've obviously got like Brazil popping off as well. It's just crazy how much pop is just like infecting the world in a good way. It's good. But yeah, the thing that I do like about this is that they do say the metagame's quite healthy, which I do agree. It is very healthy. They talk about basically the mainstay decks and other decks coming in and out. But other than that, the thing that I find strange is that they don't. They mention decks, right? So they go Madness, Affinity, and Jund Wildfire, but then they also just refer to Tolarian Terror as decks, which I find such a really odd standpoint. And I know it's probably a nitpick, but do you think that means that they basically look at, say, Blue-Red Terror, Blue-Black Terror, Mono-Blue Terror, Snacker Terror, or whatever, all as just one deck? Because to me, they all play very differently.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Yeah, it is strange because they do play very differently, and Terra's obviously the main part of blue, but like a minimal part of like black, for example.
Yeah.
Like depending which way you go, especially, it could be basically like in blue red. Like is that a Terra deck? It just like uses Terra in like turn 12.
Yeah, it's just its win con, right? Is how I see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems strange. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy with that sort of thing. They basically say that the format looks fun, varied, and quite healthy, which I agree with. My only main thing for people that maybe were disappointed in no bans is I think the thing for that is the power level of the format and not the format itself. So I imagine a lot of people who did play for eons, the power level of the format has significantly changed. And it's shot through the roof. And that is not necessarily a bad thing, but that's just obviously like Universes Beyond power level, it's, Modern Horizons power level, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's just a magic thing at this point, isn't it? It's every format that the power increases.
And that's sort of the thing is I think these cards that are, that people think need banned, like obviously we've talked about in previous episodes, like people will talk about Snacker, people have talked about Refurb, people have talked about all sorts of stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, these are powerful cards, like obviously the all Modern Horizons cards, so they're going to be incredibly powerful. But I think the thing is as a whole, like the whole sea levels just rose, right? So everything's more powerful.
Yeah.
So it's just one of them things, like and it's a big standpoint that I've had, and I've talked about it previously on a ban video. If you start banning something because of the power level to bring the power level down, like it is completely unknown where you're gonna have to stop, right? And I just don't think that's the answer now. Right? You could ban Bridges, you could ban Terror, you can ban Snacker, you can ban Refurb. You could literally do all that, and you could still have to ban more because the power level is still more powerful than what we expect.
Yeah,
and I just don't
definitely.
think that's the answer. I think it's just more of a suck it up, this is Magic now sort of vibe, because it's not unhealthy and it's not unfun to play, I don't think. I just think it's, the power level's just a bit, it's up, and it's just one of them things that we now just get used to. But, should we go on to the more exciting thing, however?
Yeah.
I would like to say it's probably borderline similar to Prophetic Prism, I think. But one thing that they mentioned is that the thing the format is light on is slower control decks. And then when evaluating that ban list, they have decided that Bonder's Ornament is a card that seems like it could come off. So this was banned, obviously, pre-Commander Masters, pre-Modern Horizons 3, etc. And I think the format's sped up considerably, which sort of touches on, obviously, the power level we were talking about before. And they've basically decided, they were going to do it last update, but they've decided to put it on trial and ban, so use the trial and ban procedure that they've done. And they'll basically make a decision in the August 10th ban list update, where they'll have a final verdict on Bonder's Ornament. So, for now, Bonder's Ornament is unbanned. On trial, of course. But, and what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see them use that tool again.
Yeah.
And again, on a card that probably doesn't really need to be on the ban list anymore. Like, same with Prophetic Prism, obviously. From basically is nothing other than Electron slightly better, which has improved the format.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think his ornament is probably a safe one to take off. Again, it's a shame that they're only trying one at a time, but I guess by doing that, it's more obvious to see if it's a problem or not, if something does go wrong.
Yeah. And my thing with this, I think, obviously that they're just lining up with obviously normal B&Rs, which, again, as a panel, they don't have to. Like, they've done it before, right, where they don't have to layers with be in the same B&R window.
Yeah.
But for this, like, if you do them one at a time, I feel like they could in effect do this. Like, between now and August the 10th, they could definitely have 2 trial and bans, is what I'm trying to get at. So, like, they could halfway point decide on Bonder's Ornament and say, oh, well, why we're at it, since that was successful, this card's now on trial and ban.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know, it's probably expecting too much or whatever, like, you know, biting the hand that feeds you and all that sort of stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I think they're lining up with everything else sort of makes sense, like, although the article that obviously did put out is the most unwieldy thing in the world because there's so many formats on it now. I feel like you're scrolling for eternity to try and get to the bit that interests you. But with Pauper being included in that, it makes it feel, what's the term? Like, not more legit, but like,
yeah. It's like it's
endorsed
like
by Wizards because it's on this article.
Yeah. I can get behind that.
Whereas sometimes when they're like by themselves, it's just like, oh, this is for the people who play Pauper, and then no one else did it.
Yeah.
Where like people who are looking at Standard or Modern, for example, also see Pauper.
Yeah, and I get that, to be fair. And that makes total sense. It does like legitimize the format a bit, to be fair, which is,
that's the word. Yeah.
Which is like sort of a good thing, and I guess that's fair. Like, there's no rush on it for me, but that's just probably me being like an impatient person here, and I'm like, oh, we wait till August the 10th, and then they say it's successful, and then they're like, oh, we can maybe try this, which is cool. Yeah. I'm all for that. Like, I do, and I have seen this quoted quite a lot, to be fair. People seem to quote me a lot when it comes to BNR now, and it's the short of the ban list conversation that we had the other month is short ban list equals good, and then people just tag me in this, and I'm like, stop putting this out of context, but trying to take things off the ban list, like Bonder's Ornament, like, I don't even know what else is on the Peregrine Drake was one of them that someone said, like, trialing these things, whatever it is always a good thing, because it's just a way, like, it's wasting away doing nothing, you know, it as we talked about, it confuses people, like, they could find this in their chaff box and they're like, oh, I've got a Bonder's on, this is cool, let's play it. And then they sit there and register it and it's banned.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, why is this random card banned? It's just not a good thing.
No. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, but it is funny to see people just take it completely out of context and be like, oh, well, we don't want them to be scared to ban cards. Like, not what we're saying at all. Like, we're not saying if something's destroying the format, you can't ban it because it increases the ban list.
Yeah. It's just funny. But I do think that it is a good thing to try to do this process, and the trial and ban process was a success and is a really good thing. But then touching on going out of what the actual BNR says, what do we think Bonder's Ornament will do to the format as a whole, obviously? Not enough.
Probably nothing, to be honest. It might go in like Flickertron.
Mm.
It might go in Jeskai Ephemerate instead of that little water skin Majig that they're playing.
Yeah.
But like those decks are so minimal.
Yeah.
It's not gonna make that deck from a D to a C to an A, even a D to a C, really.
What's your thoughts on other control decks then? Like, say, like I guess Jund Wildfire is more like a mid-range control deck, or Gardens, for example. Do these decks run Bonder's Ornament, or do we just accept like Fanatical Gardens is better?
Gardens could, but it draws so much better than Bonder's Ornament anyway. Like, it doesn't really need to grind to that level. Like, it doesn't tend to run out of power.
Yeah.
And then same for Jund Wildfire, like, your game plan is so much better than sitting behind a Bonder's Ornament. Like, you just don't, it's not, in my opinion, it's not really what you need to be doing. Like, as we've seen, like, the format is quite fast, quite aggressive. Like, you need a lot of control pieces to be able to just sit back and try and draw cards with the Bonder's Ornament.
Yeah. Like, it is a lot of resources, right? Yeah, it is, because I do agree. I don't think it's going to impact the format. I think the thing is, for me, is there's always this like strange thing with, well, way back when, but obviously Bonder's Ornament was playable. It was a strange time where basically people were playing Bonder's Ornament to switch off Bonder's Ornaments. Obviously,
yeah, I can't really see that happening.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's like, so say if you are Gardens versus Jeskai, for example, do you like lose that matchup from a Gardens perspective because they have Bonder's Ornament in your deck and you don't? Do you know what I mean? Like, that was how it obviously once was.
Yeah.
So then, if that's the case, then do they run? And then it's that sort of thing, and that's not a bad thing. That's just obviously what it was like.
No, I think it's more likely that the Gardens player just plays the Oof, and again.
Yeah.
Temperature and Wildfire, and they just put the Oof back in.
Yeah.
To just blow it up, because the matchups, in my thinking, are going to be so minimal. Like, you're talking about a Gardens versus a Jeskai, Wildfire, or Jeskai Ephemerate, and it's like the chances of that are so low anyway. Is it worth wasting the slots?
Yeah, well, that was obviously just like, it could be. I don't know. It could be a Gardens v Gardens. It could be, you know, some deck with Bonder's Ornament without it is what I'm saying. Like, and I don't know if it's good enough, and I don't think it is. I'm leaning towards it's probably just bad in the.
Yeah, I think it's just easy to disrupt as well. Like, we have Mass Vandal, we have a little Oof guy that's basically the same but a 2/2.
Troublemaker Oof.
Troublemaker Oof that are just sort of are now in main decks anyway. And it's such a big investment from the other player. They have to play it for 3 mana and then activate it down the road of the 4 mana. It's like they have to be significantly ahead to even have the time to do that.
Yeah, of course. I guess, though, to be fair, the big thing is, like, there's a lot of main deck artifact here, like, as you're saying there, like Vandal, Oof. You've got, like, stuff like Suplex and Cast into Fire as well, making its way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is a lot of answers to it. It's not, obviously, like, a hard-to-deal-with thing. But, yeah, it is interesting. I do think, overall, it probably doesn't do anything, though.
I think it's probably a safe from them, to be honest.
Then that circles back to my point of, you know, it doesn't see play at all in the next 3 or 4
Do
weeks.
it again.
Do it again. Do it again. Anything else to add on the B&R update?
No. I'm good to move on.
So just flying through some news. So some tournament news. We've only got the one, which is May 23rd, which is this weekend. Is Pauper Team Trios at Darksphere London, which is pretty cool. Be cool to see that. I do love the idea of Team Trios. So it's definitely pretty sweet. It's a shame that it is all the way Doon South. And that is the only tournament bit we got. We did have 2, which last week, but obviously we were just passing ships and not recording. It sort of didn't work out, but they were doing really well. I think they only had like 10 spaces or 20 spaces left out of like a like the sold out first and increased spaces and stuff. It was really cool. But yeah, pretty cool events. And then after that, we are basically just going to talk about, we have the 4 normal challenges. And then there's also a RC qualifier that was on Sunday as well, which we'll sort of touch on as well, which is pretty cool.
The first challenge then, this Thursday, the 14th, 46 players. First was Blue Black Fair, second was Gardens, third was Ponza, fourth Grixfinity, fifth was White Weenie, sixth was Rally Red, seventh Gardens, eighth was Moxide, and then the near misses 2 Green White Gates in 9th and 10th. I guess initial standout for me is just this Green White Gates list is generally been popping up quite a lot. Yeah, it seems to be everywhere.
It did really well in the showcase last week as well, that we obviously didn't cover. The first and second place was both Green White Gates. The deck just seems to be doing really well. It just has I think it does what it wants to do, and it does it well, right?
Yeah, I think can't remember which gate we mentioned when this first come up. There was the green white version that I think Marsboy playing, and then a different version in the top 8 at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think we basically said how like the other version was just like, what is it doing with it? It had like surveillance and stuff in, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I can't remember. Well, I think, it looked all over the place, right? Is what I do remember. Yeah. It just had like odd numbers, odd card choices, that sort of thing.
But these green white ones, like, they look so basically just focused in. I'm going to play my guy. I'm going to put a gate on it. I'm going to attack with it. My opponent. I've got 8 pieces of very hard removal with Thread and Charm and Journey. And then just like a bunch of value creatures with like Sacred Cat add into the guild pack. Or medical, just all really awkward to remove. And then obviously they're going for the gate creeper vine rather than open the gates as well to get the list gates.
Yeah. I think, to be fair, I was thinking that before. I was like, why they're not running open the gates? It's just cheaper, but obviously it runs obviously the whole 8 rumbles, so it's obviously great in that respect, and also counts as a creature towards Thraben Charm as well. So it's like a double whammy, and it's like, for the 1 extra mana and the body, it's like probably worth it. Well, must be.
Yeah, I think it's just more useful, isn't it? It's a blocker.
Yeah.
It pumps your Thraben Charms. You can pull it off your Malevolent Rumbles or your Midnight Tillins.
Yep.
In a real pinch, you could put an Armadillo Cloak on it as a blocker.
Yeah.
Like, it just got a bit more utility than open the gates.
Oh yeah, it like increases your hits of Basilisk Gate, right, with Rumble, right? Because if you hit Gate Creeper Vine, you're just like, okay, I've now got 8 Basilisk Gates that can now like, you've got 8 copies of Basilisk Gate in the sense of Gate Creeper Vine and Basilisk Gate, but then Rumble and Tillin both find both of those, so like your numbers just go even further up. So like finding a Basilisk Gate is just incredibly high.
And I think that's the Midnight Tillin Rumble thing is like the main thing to focus on as well, because when you look at how they built the deck, other than other Rumbles or other Tillins, it's basically only Thraben Charm that's a whiff.
Yeah.
Like everything else you can get, or is a Strands that you don't mind putting in your graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's really cool because obviously it helps. It just seems to help a lot, like those effects, because as you say, but so much stuff in the bin that you don't care about, but it helps smooth out what you want to be doing. Like, because your lands are important, because you need more gates to make your Basilisk Gate bigger. You need more Basilisk Gates to make your creatures bigger. You can find creatures. You can put creatures in the bin and Strands in the bin that you don't care about putting in the bin. You can find removal because of your journey. You can find life gain with your Armadillo. Like, it just does everything that you wanted, right?
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
The only other deck I had noticed that seemed to be doing some sort of weird stuff, I guess, was the 5th place White Weenie list. It has one great sword in the main alongside 1 relic. And then it has 2 of the Marvel or Spider-Man guy
Yeah.
alongside three Leonardos. So doing a lot of their bouncy stuff without Course Guy Fisher. Alongside Course Guy Fisher, I guess.
Yeah, it seems quite strange. There was a list last week that ran a one-of Relic, and I was really confused by it, but it is what it is. Can't really, I didn't really understand why it was there, and I didn't really think too much of it. Because obviously you have quite a lot of stuff that sort of work in the graveyard to an extent. You've got like Strands, Battle Screech,
yeah,
and stuff. But like it was just like, why?
It also doesn't run any more relics either in the sideboard, so you don't go up on relics. There's just one there.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that, but like obviously the Great Sword is like really good and it's like really strong, right? But it's only to mean like specific matchups. Like it's really good against like Chrysalis, it's really good against Terra. Obviously, just lets you get through these like sort of 1 to 2 big guys. But is that the meta? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is that what you need to be doing? Like against Green White Gates, you can't hit Guardian. So it's like what I don't get what this is for now. Because I wouldn't say Jun's on a high, and I wouldn't say Terra's on a high. You know what I mean? So that's my thought. Is like, well, what's this for? That's my...
Yeah, it is a bit of a weird one. I guess it's probably quite good against Affinity.
Yeah.
Like being able to get a Mare Enforcer or Utrum out of the way.
Yeah.
Make it harder for them to crack on, like without Toxin, I guess.
I guess also against that Boros deck, it's also not the worst, right? Like you get the big spirit guy out the way, you can get like snackers out the way to fly over. Yeah. It's fair. I also have noticed as well in a lot of white-based decks, moving towards back to Acolytes as well.
Yeah.
Which seems like a good move. Obviously, this Boros Tribe deck was doing rounds and doing really well. But that sort of like seemed to increase the Gardensy sort of black-based removal decks, even like Fae to some extent, or Blue-Black Terror or whatever, so that these seem pretty decent right now. Like especially like Obsidian Acolyte seems to be the big one. Like Crimson Acolyte is to me a no-brainer. It's like obviously good against the red-based decks, which are always doing the rounds. But the black one obviously seems to be popping up a lot more with the I don't want you to cast down my guy, sort of. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Any other decks in that challenge you want to mention?
The only other one I want to mention is in third place is the Ponza deck. Ponza seems to be taking a massive uptick as of last Sunday, it seems, after the showcase challenge, which isn't really a surprise, I don't think, with the not only the green white Gates deck, but like Gates deck in general, like seeming to be everywhere. The response being I'm gonna blow those gates up doesn't seem like a too far of a stretch. And I guess that sort of follows on from the 7th place Gardens list, putting 4 Rancid Earths in the sideboard as well. It's sort of like the same sort of
seem like the worst place to be, does it?
You have 16 cards to find your Basilisk Gate or whatever it is. It's okay, I've got some things that blow it up. And hope you don't find another one, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was...
Yeah, I suppose, well, they're going to struggle to beat the Guardian otherwise, like if there's an active Guardian.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really have an out to it, so it makes sense. They've gone back to the actual Ponza stuff.
Yeah. But no, that was it for the Thursday.
Moving on to the Friday, the 15th then, 59 players. First place was Jeskai Red. Second was Mono Red Madness. Third was Familiars. Fourth was Green Red Ram. Fifth was Blowback Fair. Sixth was Green White Gates. Seventh was Elves. And eighth was Walls combo. And then you've really confused me in 9th and 10th, because 9th was Mono Blue Terror, and then 10th you put Mono Red Terror.
No, Mono Blue. Sorry, it was Mono Red Madness, and I deleted it.
Mono Red Madness, yeah. I was like, what is this a new deck?
Oh,
But yeah, the win for Jeskai Squared or Jeskai Ephemera, obviously it's basically the wild Jeskai Wildfire deck that no longer plays wildfires anymore. Just is the really slow, grindy roll deck.
Yep.
The perfect home probably for Bonder's Ornament. The fact that it's getting a win and in a 60-player event essentially is maybe a good sign for Bonder's Ornament, I guess.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it is a solid. To be fair though, like obviously this deck has ran the, as you touched on before, that water skin. Obviously this list is choosing not to run that.
Yeah.
But I don't like. I still like. Even if I look at this now with the version that doesn't, I'm like, well, what are you cutting to make Bonder's Ornament in there? Like, which is still tough. Like you're basically just gonna cut some utility cards, right? And then hope that Bonder's Ornament finds the rest, I guess. Strange. It's an interesting time to see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Other than that, there's like really that much interest, and a lot of the lists are just pretty stock. Some of the lists are obviously entertainment, and the red green just fairly stock. Same with the elves and the gates. The walls combo, I guess, is a strange one to see nowadays because it's mostly just like combo spy walls. But this is just like the straight up old school, free from the real combo deck.
So Walls combo had was it last week? I think Walls combo had a really good week. I think it was like 4 over the weekend. Like one of them had 2 Walls combo in the top 8. And it was such a strange thing. I'm assuming like it must, the only thing I can think is it must have been an adaptation to like the Strixhaven meta, right? Where everyone's doing their own thing. Like people are trying to tie this tribe, people are trying to answer certain things, and it's just like every deck seemed to be not really control decks. It's like I'm gonna madness you, I'm gonna try and combo you off or whatever, and Walls have just went, well, if no one's killing my O4s, then I guess I win. And it seemed to obviously I guess pay off like last week, and obviously trickling into this week because with this top 8 here.
Yeah, it's an interesting one to see. The only other thing really I had sort of picked up from this challenge was sort of outside the top 10. At the 11th place.
Touchy subject.
White Blade list.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
No, go on.
Yeah, the 11th place Black White Blade list. It has 2 foot ninjas. In the main, and then obviously 1 banana pizza, which is obnoxious.
Yeah, so Lost Canto 5-0'd with this Black White Blade list. Cutting the Leos for foot ninjas. Basically saying that Leo didn't really fit the plan. It like obviously it's a 1-mana ninja, which is great, but the actual Leo part of the card doesn't work. Like it's occasionally a
you don't go as wide.
You don't go wide, so it doesn't do anything.
Like a 3/3/3.
Where obviously this is sort of like it's the same cost as is the Akiba gang guy. Like it's like 4 mana, I think, to sneak. Gain 3, obviously pretty relevant.
But it's a 5/5.
But it's a 5/5, and that is to me like. And I was when I first I thought this would at least see playing like sideboard because I wouldn't. It seems better than like Mukatai Ambusher in this sort of deck where you don't really care about a 3/2. You'd rather have a 5/5 and stuff like that. And I was quite happy that like he seemed to do well with it, and he seemed to like it. To be fair, like obviously it's hard to deal with threat. Gain a life is not nothing. It is black, so it dodges Snuff Out. It, however, isn't legendary, which is sad for Universes Beyond cards, but it still gets cast down.
Yeah, I think at the moment as well, something that is relevant is it's also white. It's black, white, so it can block or attack through a guild pack.
Yeah, definitely. Having a multicolored card in this metagame is not
basically nothing in your deck other than getting it stacked with a Tithing Blade can interact with it. So
yeah. No, it's definitely relevant. Yeah, it's a really cool edition though. I was quite pleased to see it when they tweeted about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sweet one. And then obviously they've got the pizza, the chubby banana form on a pizza, which is the just destroyed the murder, I guess.
Yeah.
On the food.
Yeah.
I mean, it sort of seems weird.
Yeah, I think it's like one of them things.
Always just seems a bit too expensive.
Yeah. I agree. I think as a one of it's sort of like low. I don't know what the words are. It's like, it's cost is quite low to put it in your deck, and it's might have a really high upside if you find your one of when you're flooded and you can kill 3 creatures or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool. The what was the deck that I wanted to? 1 second, I'm just scrolling now. No, I've lost it. I have lost it. So yeah, happy to move on.
So I'll just up to the next one. Dead awkward doing this not on a 2 screen. So the Saturday the 16th challenge, 46 players. First place was Grixis Affinity. Second place Rally Red. Third place Blue Black Fair. Fourth Spy Combo. Fifth Grixis Affinity. Sixth Blue Black Fair. Seventh Mono Red Sly, and 8th Blue Terror. And then the near misses 9th and 10th were another pair Mono Blue Terrors. Blue Terror making a comeback. It's heard, we've said it's on the downtrend. It's like, nah, like 3 right now. Yeah, a bit of an interesting change from the other 2. First place, Grixis Affinity, was Weber. So always good to see the PFB getting involved in the challenges and doing well, because sort of they know the format, which is always a good sign. Not massively interesting list. I guess the main standout is there's only 3 Utron monitors as opposed to 4 or 2, which is the usual numbers we've seen. And there's no spy cams, surveillance cams. There's just one single cryogen relic instead.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I was very thinking that I was like, okay, they've kind of, I was taking it as like Luffy's 2 of as a sort of datum, right? And I was like, oh, so they've increased the Utrons, but then they've cut the sewer. And I was quite surprised by that. Like, I would assume sewer seems, like, I'm not saying Utron's bad by any stretch, but I know a lot of people seem really high on sewer, like fixing a lot of problems for the deck.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I think it's quite dependent on your play style as well, though. Like, for me, I like to play it quite a bit more aggressively, so the 4 Utrons are really well into that.
Yeah.
Where obviously the surveillance cam and cutting Utrons makes you take a lot of this, like, slow, more grindy approach.
Interesting.
The third place, Blue Black Faith list. Once again, they're very. I'm pretty sure we covered it not the week before.
Yeah.
A very like weird list with only 1 Fairy Seer and 2 Mob Lookouts.
Yep.
And the 2 Modern Age as well. It's that list. It's still the same. It still looks very weird.
Still looks hideous.
Yeah, I still like the idea, but not the numbers.
Yep, I agree.
The Modern Age still looks massively out of place, but
yeah,
interesting to see Spouse doing reasonably well.
Yeah, I really do like this concept, right? I actually think Mob Lookout looks really good in this deck, and the concept of Mob Lookout looks really good in this deck. But yeah, these numbers are so whack. They're so whack. Like, half of these cards could go as long as you just have the Fairy Seer, Ninja, Spellstutter Sprite stuff, you're sort of fine, but yeah, just odd.
I think especially when you contrast it with the 6th place list, which is like basically just the most straight up Black Fair could ever have. Yeah. Just like 4 Seer, 4 Sprite, the Augurs, the Thorns, even the spells, it's just like 4, 4, 4, 4.
Yeah.
It makes it look even more strange.
Yeah, but like, even looking at this list, right, you could cut, I don't know, 1 Murmur Mystic, 2 Thorns, 4 Augurs. That's what, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a random card. I don't know, pick a card, doesn't matter. And you could play 4 Mob Lookout, 4 Sneaky Stacker, and you've basically got that list but cleaner.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just seems strange to me to have all them one-offs and dysfunctioning and like your spell sort of sprites not countering anything that isn't 1 with that list. Like the chance you hit another fairy is unbelievable. But yeah. Oh well.
And then the only other thing I picked up on for this was the mono red Sly list. He's sort of mono red Sly, but also sort of not at the same time.
It's like
time.
A rally
it's like,
Sly hybrid, right?
Yeah. It's basically tilted more into the rally space with burning trees and rallies. Basically slotting into the Sly like or Inventor's Act, the one drop creatures build. Which is quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, interesting development of 2 decks we basically haven't seen change for quite a while. To be honest, basically since the Cold Author ban, these decks haven't really changed at all.
Yeah.
Other than maybe like adding the fly list added the extra, didn't it? But yeah, cool to see them like sort of come together and make something that looks a lot more Dothery, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And the Gold Hounds have gone, so that's obviously a bonus.
I find it really strange running all these 1-drops and no synth as well. Like you've only got 2 Rent Resolvers, but you've got space issues at this point, haven't you? Right? You're jamming 2 decks together, essentially.
Yeah, I guess at that point, if you like start putting Sims in, you're like probably back at the start of the Cold Authors just being mean that I'm going to play Rally at the home by burning 3 to fill that hole.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously the development of the Inventor's Axe in this Sly build is, I think, what they're trying to capitalize on, but just with the Rally, like, good plan.
Yeah. Interesting. It's definitely cool to see some red development, to be fair. Definitely needs it, because there's only so much madness you can take.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool.
And then, the pile of mono blue Terra at the end, basically nothing's changed. They're just pretty stock mono blue Terra lists.
Yeah, I think they look either identical or pretty closely based off Discover Ends list, right?
I think they're within like 2 or 3 cards,
Yeah. Right. Sure. You just keep delvering and keep casting Terra. You guys have fun over there.
See, it must still be playable.
I guess, to be fair, Elves seems to be on a downward, right?
Yeah. No, I think, like, it was sort of a joke. I do think Terra's still very good.
Yeah. It can only be so bad, right? Cast on 1 and a 5/5s.
Yeah. Next, do you want to do the C or just the normal challenge first?
Should we do the normal challenge first, I guess?
Yeah. So Sunday the 17th, 61 players, which I guess is a bit low for a Sunday, but obviously there's an RC on at the same time. First place, Mono Blue Fair. Second place, Green Red Ramp. Third and fourth place, Mono Red Madness. Fifth place, Ponza. Sixth place, Green White Gates. Seventh, Mono Blue Fair. And eighth place, Ponza. And then the 2 near misses, 9th is Gardens, and 10th was Rally Red. A bit of a weird one. Obviously, Ponza Gates doing well in the last couple of weeks, making a comeback. And then Mono Blue Fair, I'm assuming, because everyone else is playing in the RC, that this is the Mono Blue Fair time to shine. It seems like a very strange choice at the moment.
Yeah,
especially from who's been playing a lot of the blue blacklist.
Yeah, I do find this quite odd. I'm assuming it is probably just like a double queue concept, right? For Bath, right? The blue fair is sort of like the aggressor.
Yeah, true.
You don't have. You can like. not skip through turns, but
Right.
you can, there's a less focus on what you need to do and all that sort of stuff with blue fade. I'm not saying that's easier to play than blue black, but it's just there's a lot less choices because you
But
generally,
it probably is.
yeah, but it is, but yeah, I guess I also find it strange, right? The format to me at the moment seems to be just threat checking people. It's like, right, here's my Guardian of the Guild pack with a bit Basilisk Gate. Check me, can you kill it? No, okay, you die. Or here's my combo, this is what I'm gonna do. Can you check it? No, okay, right, you die. Like, and it's that sort of thing, and people are trying to answer to it by a Ponza or counter spells or whatever. Which is totally fair. And I don't feel like Mono Blue Fairies does that. Like, I feel like it does everything so backwards, right? Is it just relying on, I don't even know, like, that they're gonna tap out for Basilisk Gate on a Sacred Cat and you go, haha, snap you. And then like, they'll lose that much tempo and the win or something. I don't get why Mono Blue Fair. Like, it seems like an odd choice when that's the format.
Yeah. I think you probably sort of hit the nail on the head of it's a deck that you would double queue with, or a deck that these players would double queue with. Because I think is probably what most of this topic is.
Yeah.
Like when you sort of look at it and think about it, it's like there's 2 Ponzas and a green red ram, 2 mono red madness.
Yeah.
Obviously the 2 control players, but playing a weird, more aggressive control deck. Just a random green white gates, which again, it's not straightforward to play, but it's fairly straightforward to play. You basically jam and threaten it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very much influenced by the RCs and the same thing.
Yeah. And it sort of felt the same with the showcase last week as well. It was just like, here's loads of random aggro decks, and I guess that's just part of the Magic Online experience, right? Is everyone's going to double queue, or most people are going to double queue, and they're going to pick some aggressive deck to sort of...
Yeah, I don't know why when there's a big event on at the same time as the challenge, like in the same format, they don't just do the challenge or reschedule it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
like it seems a bit backwards because obviously a lot, like the 61 people playing, but like imagine the vast majority of them are just double queues, which is like really the experience you want.
It'd be interesting to see because how many actually experienced the double queue, because I noticed there's been a few events on like previously, not the last 2, but like people have said like basically because it might be because they did pick a fast deck in the double queue thing that they basically had like one game that they were actually playing 2 games at the same time, or one round where they were playing 2 games at the same time or whatever. But other than that, it was like almost they were out of sync, if you know what I mean. So you just were continuously playing throughout the day, as opposed to. But
it's quite a funny one as well because I know Mr. Twin, who are both in this top 8 with Mono Blue and Red Madness, both also top 16 at the same time.
Yeah. Oh well. But yeah, nothing too exciting to say about this challenge really. Strange that Mono Blue favours here, but yeah, moving on.
Yeah. Very strange. Moving on to the RC, which is more interesting. Obviously, Sunday, 17th of May, 125 players. So pretty decent one. First place was White Weenie. Second place was Mono Red Madness. Third was Monstertron. Fourth was Pix Affinity. Fifth was Dune Wildfire. Sixth was Green White Gates. Seventh was Red Black Madness. And eighth was Red Madness. And then the 2 near misses. Ninth was L's. Was another copy of White Weenie. To your normal scheduled. Oh, the meta.
Yeah. Interesting to me that White Weenie ended up taking this whole thing down. Is pretty impressive.
And it's like not the weirdest list either. Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. It is the weirdest list either. It's the one relic, one great sword list, isn't it, that we spoke about before?
Yep.
With the one relic, one great sword, one journey, one Ramosian rally, and the 2 Spider-Man, 3 Leonardos.
Yeah, I don't...
It's a weird one. I think this Spider-Man sort of seemed to be becoming a mainstay as like a or two of. Like it seems to be that common now that most of the white weenie lists are just playing these two Spider-Mans, which I don't hate. It's not the worst thing. Being able to like reset your Leonardos as well is not nothing.
I was gonna say though, that to me seems like the real reason why they're running it, because it seems like they want a way to hit you with more Leos without finding more Leos.
Yeah.
And it seems like a good
Definitely.
and Core Sky Fisher seem like a really good way of resetting the Leos to make sure you get hit
And I think,
more than once.
Yeah, I think that's the way as well. You don't have to play the Glaz. Because like once you've got one Leo, you just need, if you find another Leo or a Spider-Man at that point, you can redo it, or a Core Sky Fisher.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Bugler list, you're obviously just digging for to try and find the extra Leos.
I do also think though, like obviously 3 mana for a 2/3 is not like, you'd still want to be quite aggressive with this deck, right? And it does, like, the Bugler does slow you down. You can grind, like you can definitely outgrind people with White Weenie, right? With that build. But I think this way is, I'll draw off clues and all that sort of stuff, and that's how I grind. But other than that, I'm going to try and be as aggressive as possible with my cheap creatures.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't really seen the splash White Weenie lists either. As of late, obviously we've seen them quite popular maybe 3 or 4 weeks back. But all the ones now just seem to be like full on no Karoo lands, just 2 Granges, 16 planes, like just normal regular White Weenie.
Yeah. I wonder what changed, like, in that respect. Like, is elves not really a thing, or the mirrors not really a thing, that you don't need the... To
be honest, I think elves is a reasonable matchup for White Weenie anyway. They've got the answers. Like Frame and Charm is obviously really good. Answers against elves. Frame and Charm in particular, being able to blow up Hydras and just kill any of the like priests or Timber Watchers.
Yeah.
And then they've got all the evasion with the Skyfishers, and they've got the whole Battle Screech, Guardian's Pledge, like punch that elves just like basically can't interact most part, because they've got maybe 1 guy would reach, maybe 2 guys would reach, but you have like 8 guys with flying.
But then it just seems strange why the black splash has sort of dipped. Mainly the black splash, like the red splash was a bit whatever. I
think the black splash is probably just because they realised it wasn't really needed.
Yeah.
It could be really good, obviously, in the mirror if more people start picking up White Weenies, which is what seems to be happening. I could see it coming back as like a mirror breaker.
Yeah.
Like we've got three here in the top 16.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty decent showing.
Yeah, definitely. I do
like the red splash though, but I like the rally.
Yeah, I think the rally's good. It's like very explosive, right? But I don't know. Yeah. I don't think it gains a lot, right? Is what I mean. Like you actually gain like a card that you don't really have access to in the black splash. Like the red splash is just
true.
My Guardian's Pledges go bigger, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I also do feel like they lose out on Grange quite a lot though, playing them splashes, which I think is a big loss for the deck.
Yeah, definitely. Even like a 3/4 cost guy, which is like so much in the 2/3.
Yeah. Definitely. Anything else? Or moving on?
Yeah, other than that, the DOS list.
Yeah.
It seems to be just doing what DOS does, is where we don't see it for ages, and then it'll just like top 8 really big things.
Yeah.
Like it's not in any of the challenge top 10s, and then it's just here in the 125 player event. I still don't really know where it fits or how good it is in the meta. It always seems like fairly reasonable, but then no one plays it.
Yeah.
But this is definitely like the cleanest Just Madness list I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Basically everything is a 4 of, except there's 2 Razor God, Razor Trap God, and then some basics.
Yeah.
Everything else is just a 4 of. There's no like lands. There's none of that like Outblast stuff. It's just like straight up. Well, as straight up as you can be, basically.
Yeah, we've talked about this sort of list before, right? With the no tap lands or minimal tap lands, right? And just basics, and it seems so much cleaner. Like you have so many problems with this deck needing so much mana to cast its spells to gain its value. Like, why fill that with tap lands to make that even worse?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it seems like, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the strength in what happened with this deck is like its land construction, because it can do what it needs to do on curve, right? Like, grab the prize on snack, like with Snacker on turn 2 is not out the question. You know, having 3 to 4 mana to double madness spell and stuff like that. It's like just having access to those things is just like really important for this deck.
Yeah.
So I also like the respect.
There is even another copy. Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say I like the pseudo respect for the gate piles with the 1 contaminated ground in the sideboard.
Yeah, the sideboard is sort of the opposite to the main deck, where it's just a bunch of like one-offs, and one-offs that are like don't really make much sense. Like there's 1 red elemental blast and no blast.
Yeah.
Like it's just when do you just want 1 of those?
You want to counter the first terror, but that's it.
Yeah. Like split the sweepers into 1 breath weapon, 1 end the festivities. Again, like
sure.
the cards you just see 1 of.
Yep.
Although there is 3 casting the fires there to like supplement the end at least.
Mm.
And then 1 contaminated ground and 1 gorilla shaman.
When you see them, I guess.
Yeah. But no, it's cozy. And there is another copy of us in 14th as well. So it's not just like a it got that. It's a legit good deck. Just people just don't play it for some reason.
Mm. Yeah, pretty similar list as well, right? With in terms of the mana base, they have added like single players in the main, but essentially the sort of the same concept of I'm going to cast all my spells on time because I have basics and not tap lands.
Yeah. The only other deck I really wanted to touch on was the 15th place black on a blue terror. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's a list that Illuminati had been toying with, where they basically cut the Delvers, just run the 8 snakes and then 2 mystics.
Mm-hmm.
As like a control-y package, but you've still obviously got the exclusiveness of Mono Blue Terror.
Yeah.
But then this one has a boomerang back in the deck, which is something I've not seen for quite a while, which is quite a cool like throwback. I'm assuming it's over like the 3rd Demon period.
Got to be able to interact with the gate in response. So it is. Or bounce the gate, maybe. I guess. Or bounce the tapped gate on turn 2 or turn 1 or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a strange one, I guess. Like looking back at the challenges though, there was quite a bit of Ponza. Or red green ramp. So it's like not out of the question that boomerangs could be good again. But yeah, pretty weird one. And then in the sideboard as well, they've got 3 good shots, but then they're also have Heresy Charm.
Yeah.
Which is another just sort of like off kilter choice, I guess.
Yep. Strange to only run 3-1, but like Piracy Charm doesn't fix anything, right? You wouldn't bring Piracy Charm in and be like, got you, because I've brought in a Piracy Charm over a good shot, right? I can't see it. You know what I mean? I guess you could maybe go, I'm going to kill your elf or whatever, and then they don't expect they're on 7 and you go, I got you, +2/+1, I guess, but still not really worthwhile running, I don't think.
Then outside of that, the other thing I think is worth mentioning is the Green Tron list. 2 barrels of blasting jelly in the main, which is like the tar card. Though it's a 1 mana filter rock. So it's cost 1 mana, and you can pay 1 mana to filter a mana of any color. And then it also has pay 5, sack it, deal to target creature.
Yep.
So just for removal. Plus,
Yeah, there's a lot of lists recently been running this card as even up to as a 4 of. And like cutting other mana filters and just running the barrels. Because usually you're only going to be casting one card a turn anyways, like coloured card a turn. So it doesn't matter about the restriction of you can only activate this once a turn.
Yeah.
So it sort of makes sense in that respect, right? Because then obviously turns your Prophetic Prism into a removal spell.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
I mean, in Prophetic Prism, you can only use once a turn anyway.
Yeah. But it seems pretty... Like, when I seen it, I was like, what the hell is this card? And then I was like, oh, that's actually... It's like a really cool thing that I think fixes quite a lot of problems, right, for the deck.
Yeah.
Like, you've got the... I forget the card. Kill Ship, right? Obviously, it's a kill spell.
Yeah.
But, like, having barrels as well just seems to, like, take it into overdrive. Like, and it kills... It's, like, a very relevant number, right? Like, 5 damage is very relevant. Like, pretty much anything you want to kill.
Yeah, it's a number you want, isn't it?
Yeah, so... since seeing that as a 4, I'm actually surprised it's only a 2 of, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like it does fix a lot of problems for the deck.
They're also playing a 1 of Ed Linorm, which I have never seen before. But is a 6 and a green, a 7/6 Snake Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or less, so that's sort of pseudo evasion. But it's also an adventure that is a 4-mana instant to put 2 counters on 2+1/+1 counters on a creature and untap it against hexproof until end of turn. Sorry.
Clearly, you've never played Rug Dragons before. If you don't know what this card is, come on.
No, I definitely haven't.
But yeah, I don't think I like this card, but I also think I understand why it's there, and I get the idea behind it. Like, it's perfect curve for 7 for like the Tron side of things to just cast a 7/6. Like, it's adventure half isn't irrelevant. Like, surprise, unblock, like to untap a guy and kill a guy is great. Like, giving something hexproof to protect it from removal, also great. Like, I get the principle behind them all, but I just don't think it does enough.
No, I think my issue with this is like it's because the adventure half's so expensive with it being 4 mana. Like, say, like in Tron, you're going to be in a situation where you either this to protect your guy, or you play this as another guy. Yeah. So I was saying the Dreadling Arm. It's sort of a weird costing situation where a lot of the time you're not going to have enough mana to do both. So you're going to be in a situation where you either protect your guy or develop the board on this. Like, you're probably not doing them both on the same turn, right? It's 7 mana, which obviously is fine late game, but like turn 5, turn 6, you probably don't have 11 mana to do this with. Yeah, I just think it's a weird one where if it costs less on the adventure side, I could definitely see it.
Yeah.
4 mana for that effect is so expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. I do find it quite, like, it does seem like an odd choice. There's probably something else, like, surely there's something else that you could play that instead of this that's either like a protection plus a threat or even just a more resilient threat. But yeah, it just does seem a bit strange. I don't think I'm the biggest fan. Like, and it's a dragon that doesn't fly. Like, what the hell's going on with that?
This is a snake.
Yeah, well, sure. But, yeah. Like, other than that,
anything else you want to mention?
The only sort of thing I wanted to touch on was it's quite funny to see, like, obviously the adaptations to the metagame with this green-white Gates deck, as I've sort of like alluded to. This 5th place Jump Wildfire's like respected with a Terminator in the deck. There's been, was it the blue-black Fae in like the previous challenges that had like Extractor Confession?
It's not even just a Terminator. It's 1 Terminator in the main, but then 2 more in the...
Yeah. So
it shows how legit it is.
Yeah, definitely.
From a deck that has Riven Chrysalis as well.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just funny to see like the adaptation of the metagame with this. like the 11th place, like Bath with his blue-black phase running like an extractor confession in the main, and another one in the side. Like, it's just pretty funny. Pretty sweet to see, to be fair. Like, this deck, and I think the Boros Tribe, like, has fell off as well. It seems obviously this past weekend, it was sort of featured a little bit last weekend, but I think it has, obviously, it's sort of adapted out of the metagame a bit to the point where it's not very good against the decks that are sort of adapting around.
Yeah.
Like this Green-White Gates deck and the metagame at the moment.
Yeah, the Gates list seems like a really nice addition to the format, to be honest.
For sure.
I remembered what the other Gates list was as well. That we was alongside this one initially. It was the Fog one, right?
Oh, right, yeah. With the sewer and the Moment's Peace and the Prismatic Strand and stuff. Yeah.
I'm definitely glad this is the one that's actually seems to have survived that.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else to add on these challenges and RC and stuff?
No, I'm happy to move on if you've got nothing.
Happy to move on. So we have a listener question from Ganiwo. Apologies if I've butchered your name. I do apologise. And it's sort of like a 2/3 parter. And it says, with several high-level Pauper tournaments around the corner, like Geddon and Magicon Pauper Cup in July, how do you see the meta evolving in the next few months? And are we going to get a full cycle, like going back to what it previously was? And what would we play if we were playing these tomorrow? So I think the question was submitted last week, but it also seems quite fitting now, with obviously the meta evolving with Bonder's Ornament, the meta evolving after the RC and the Showcase, and all that sort of good stuff. So it seems like a really good question, so thank you for that. Do you want to start?
It's an interesting one. I think obviously they pretty much hit the nail on the head with the big tournaments sort of moving the meta along. And we are getting more big tournaments, so it's moving along. I think that's quite a good thing for Pauper, to be honest, because it can, like, if there's no events, it's quite still.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, at the moment with these events, it's in a really good place and it's shifting at like a reasonable pace. Like, a lot of the decks, like, there's not really decks that are getting completely pushed out. Everything's still really playable. Then we're getting new stuff as well, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of how do we see it evolving in the next few months, and are we going to see, I don't know what a full cycle is. I don't think it ever fully cycles round. If it does something that resembles like a full cycle round, there's still changes because there's still new decks like added into that. But I'd say like Mono Blue Terror basically being the best deck again anytime soon. I think it could be in the future, but at the moment I don't think it's going to be. And then in terms of like how do you see the meta evolving, like I think that's someone better than me's question to answer. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think to be fair, like
obviously
I see
we've got a new set soon, right?
Probably got like 4 new sets soon.
Yeah, it's hard to know if those are actually going to bring anything.
Yeah, I think though with the meta, how we see it now, right? I think for me, it's like the interesting thing that I like to look at is, so like the Gates deck's doing really well, which I've obviously touched on throughout this episode. And it's how people are adapting to that with like Jund with like obviously the Terminates. You've got is the mono red deck running like Rays or something. There's a mono red deck.
Yeah, I could see that coming back.
There was a mono red deck with Rays in. I'm sure I've just seen it today. There was obviously the Terminates, there's the Ponza coming back, you know, like all that sort of stuff. You've got the Jeskai deck early in the week running 2 Fangled Flames. So I think you're basically going to get to the point now where you're respecting Guardian again. And if you can't respect Guardian, you're going to respect and having an answer for Gate, like the actual Basilisk Gate. Seems to be the imminent one, because that's like, to me, that's like the Bogles deck of the format right now. It's like, I'm going to play a guy and I'm just going to suit it up with a Gate. And that's like literally my game plan. And I have every other card finds me one or the other of those. Which, to be honest, doesn't seem like a bad thing as well, because it also has a lot of life gain in it as well. So it has the potential to naturally fight against like the red decks, is how I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
So then you've got that aspect of if you've got the red decks going down on a downward trend, you might have other smaller decks that struggle with Lava Dart. I guess maybe that's why Fairies was coming back. Maybe. I like it's that sort of thing. Like one deck coming in. This is why I like it'll never fully cycle because it just won't, right? Because you've got this one gate deck coming in, and you had Boros Tribe coming in like 2 weeks before that, and those even small shifts means something completely different. Like just it throws everything off skew, but in a fantastic way. Like, you know what I mean? Like this deck does this, so that means this deck now has to try this, but then that puts this deck either better or worse. So like Walls combo probably squeezed in because Boros Tribe was on an upward trend, right? Because everyone's trying to answer the Boros combo, so they're not killing an 0-4 or something. Do you know what I mean? Like it's that sort of thing. It's just everything's shifting in a good way. Like I think the first step though is probably something like Ponza. Obviously, as we've seen, comes back a lot better, like a lot more in the metagame than this. Is my first thought. But it's pretty cool. I think the big thing is obviously these Magic big events. Like definitely, as you said, they bring new players in that try new stuff. But they also like bring the people who are regularly playing challenges and stuff like that. They get them to try ideas to beat the meta game that they used to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like Marzaboy with his green white gates deck, obviously tried this out probably due to Strixhaven with the new red white card. Oh well, that Naya version works. Why can't I just play green white and not play the red?
Due to Dredge being awful.
Yeah. Yeah, and that so. But yeah.
And then in terms of like what decks would you play if these were tomorrow? I think the biggest thing or the best thing you can do on Pauper is know your deck, then know the meta. I don't think you have to try and play the best deck.
Yeah.
I think it's just better to play the deck you know the most. For me at the moment, that'll probably be Wolves. It might not be the best deck. I think it's probably it's a weird one because I feel like it was on a downswing, but then with this Geist thing shaking the meta, I think it's probably stalled the downswing for Elves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing is know what you're playing against and know what you are playing. I don't think it matters in particular what you are.
Yeah, I think as long as you know your deck.
It doesn't matter as much as other formats anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like Modern where you have to play the best thing knocking.
Yeah. I think that's true. I definitely think you're rewarded for mastering a deck. Like look at Discover End, for example, with Mono Blue Terror, which you consider it's considered on a badward trend, right? And still doing well. Like still top 10 one of the events this weekend with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if I was to play tomorrow, I'd probably lean towards some wacky combo like Boros Tribe or Pizza, to be honest. And that's just the Pizza combo is the deck I know the most. I'd say it's probably the deck I've played with the single most reps lately. But I also did gel with the Boros deck quite a lot. So if I had like 2 weeks, I'd definitely or a week or something to test, I'd definitely take Boros Tribe.
Yeah.
Just to get more reps in. But that was my kind of deck. It's like Mogwarts adjacent, right? It has like a pseudo turn sidewards, do some funky things, draw some cards, and then it's like, oh, I guess I combo kill you now. It has that sort of vibe to it, which I really liked. So yeah, that's where I'd probably play. Anything else?
No, that's it from me.
Well, enjoy your holiday, and that is all from us at Casting Commons. Thank you for your continued support. Don't forget to tell your friends, your family, and even your passenger on an airplane, I guess. Tell them about us. Until next time, and don't forget to stay hydrated. Peace!
Bye.